Okay, hello everyone. This is our workshop Growth Wheel um, operations, and so we will be going through our Growth Wheel training on today. Glad that you can join us. This is also being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel at a later date in case you missed this training. We want to welcome you and thank you for joining us. I will be sharing my screen so that you're able to follow along and also be sharing our live online presentation of Growth Wheel. Just to get an idea of what Growth Wheel is, I will navigate you to our next presentation to
Hello, my name is
basic.
David, and this is Growth Wheel. Let me give you an introduction to this tool that is used by entrepreneurs and small businesses to make decisions and take action. Growth Wheel is a visual toolbox. You can use it either on paper or you can use it in the cloud. And you use it when you have conversations about business with your management team, with your staff, or maybe with your business advisor. Growth Wheel is a visual way you can look at your business, and the four colors you see, they represent four challenges that you have in your business. And these challenges are really the same for all businesses in all industries. They are the same for businesses in all life stages, and they're also the same whether your business is a one-person business or if you have 100 employees. So they're not really any surprise to you. You know these challenges already. The first one that you have is to create an attractive business concept, a product, a service, technology, something that somebody wants to buy. If you already have a great product, you may have another challenge, which is to create a strong organization behind it. Maybe business partners, it may be staff, it may be suppliers or vendors, but all these people that makes it possible for you to deliver what you do. Now, even if you have a great business concept and you have a strong organization, revenue can only come from one source, the customers. So the third challenge that is the same for all businesses is to create lasting customer relations, get new clients, keep them, and grow them. But even with that, there's one more last challenge that all businesses have, and that is to make money, have profitable operations in terms of managing the cash flow, be productive, manage the logistics and the operations of the business. So this is the way Growth Wheel looks at a business, and in Growth Wheel we break down these four challenges into 20 focus areas, so you get a full 360 perspective on your business and can avoid blind spots and make smarter decisions. And that's how we get the Growth Wheel framework that looks like this. And this is really nothing but a checklist in a circle with colors on it. And then it helps us to talk about how we can grow the business. So with the checklist, we work on figuring out what are the decisions we need to make to grow the company. What are the alternative ways we can go? And sometimes you need to make these decisions before you can take the next step. But also we use Growth Wheel to figure out what are the action steps that we need to take to grow the company. And sometimes you really need to take some action before you can make decisions. So the way to grow a company is to find out what are the decisions to make and the actions to take. There's a lot of them, as you know. So the first task is to figure out how we prioritize and find out what are those few things that we focus on. And that's where a checklist comes in handy, so we can figure that out while having a 360 perspective on the business and have a structure and a language to have this conversation with people around us. So that is a quick introduction to Growth Wheel and how it can help you make decisions and take action. Growth Wheel is also software that you can use in the cloud. So your business advisor, your certified Growth Wheel business advisor, can give you access to Growth Wheel online. You can create your own profile so you can collaborate online, and you can even invite team members and share information with your colleagues and maybe with mentors if you have that. On Growth Wheel Online, you can make a 360 screening. So in the cloud, you can mark out your top priorities, and when you find out what to focus on, you can add decisions and actions to these focus areas. So you get yourself a list of the things that you need to focus on right now. You can either save it as a draft or you can share it with your business advisor, so your advisor can give feedback and suggestions for that. And whenever you create a decision or an action in a screening, they are automatically transferred to a 30, 60, 90-day action plan where you can indicate you can do this within the next 30, 60, or 90 days, maybe sooner, maybe later, and you can check items off as you get them done. On Growthwheel Online, you'll also find all the tools that your business advisor have shared with you. So you can access Growthwheel tools here online. On Growthwheel Online, you also have a scorecard. So as you work with your advisor and you're using the tool, you will achieve results, and you can track them. So you have a nice list of all the things that you have achieved while working with your client. A great way to remind yourself that from all the busy work, you actually get somewhere. And if you want, you can also create your future ambitions on Growthwheel Online. What is it you're really working on in the months or quarters to come? And you can also have a list of those, and they come with a little traffic light system, because some of your ambitions are on track, others are still in progress, and then some of them are a challenge, which maybe you want to discuss with your business advisor. So that is how you can use Growthwheel Online. You can get access by speaking to your business advisor, and I hope the software will help your business make decisions and take action.
Thank you, David. So now we're going to move right into the portion for today's session, which is the growth wheel operations. So as David mentioned, each of the sections is identified in a color. So the section that we're looking at today is operations. And so this gives a highlight view of operations, the blue section, and some of the worksheets that we'll actually go through today. So we have our financial section that's in operations. This section talks about control and how to keep track of your cash flow. So it will share with you information in detail about how to do cash management, prepare sales forecasts, review cost structure, and as well as look into how your company can become profitable and how it can improve. The next piece of the pie is funding. So this talks about the best way to finance your business. So this area helps you to decide the difference between which financing option you will use, assist you in thinking about how to prepare your information and negotiating your information with the lender, also to how to explore alternative investment opportunities, and to review those current risks and future risks that may come forth. Then the next piece of the pie is called production and deliveries. And this worksheet helps you to manage and optimize your production processes. This area focuses on projects, troubleshooting, workflow, waste management, reduction, logistics systems, and so forth. Then there's the IT systems, and you can get the most out of this worksheet because it gives you an option to figure out some of your IT offerings that you may subscribe to. So that would be your software applications, your IT planning projects, your security, how to optimize your business processes, and just really looking at the overall approach of IT innovation. And then the last piece of the pie is facilities, how you can create the best condition for people and product. And so this section talks about centering around selecting the right location for your business, as well as your facilities, and how to design and manage them, how to deal with production capacity, as well as building and maintaining a knowledge library for your personal use. So we will go through some of these actual pieces of the pie. We won't do all of them. As David shared with you, that once you sign up with your advisor and sign up your business with GrowthWell, then you will have access to some of the components in the cloud online for you to begin to working through and building using GrowthWell as a software package for you. So when you actually connect with one of our advisors, then we will take you and navigate you through GrowthWell and how to best use GrowthWell. So now I'm going to share my screen and do a new share with you. And we're actually going to go live with GrowthWell so that you can kind of see what it looks like. And we'll also do some of the worksheet. So with GrowthWell, again, David shared with you the 4 different sections. Today we will be looking at the operations section, which is in the blue color. And we will go through some of these worksheets that are available. Again, you will be able to access some of the general information about yourself and about your company and set some goals. And then what we're going in today, you will work with your advisor to be able to pull some of the worksheets that are in PDF format that we send to you, that you save on your computer, and you can work on them and then communicate back with us upon completion or as you're working with them as a session, a work session, and we can assist you with GrowthWell. So I'm going to click on the financials tab so that you'll be able to see. This again talks about control, how to keep track of your cash flow. So these are some of the worksheets, and we're just going to go through a few of them today. So I'll first start out with the cash management worksheet, which is B111. So we'll start out with that one, and I'm going to actually click on it so it will open up, and I'm going to open it up in my on my computer so we can access it. And workshops. So this is how we would download it and that you would have access to it. So we're going to do for operations, we're going to do the cash management, and I've already saved it. So I'm going to open it up as a PDF. And as it opens, you'll be able to see. And so I'm going to make sure that I'm sharing my screen again. So I may need to do a new share just in case. Okay. So this is our cash management screen. I'm going to take all of this off and clear it. And in this cash management screen, again, you'll know where you're at because we're in the blue section. The number of this worksheet is the B111, and you can then see the decision sheet and see the things within the decision sheet. So now you're able to see that we're on the cash management worksheet, and this is for short and long-term cash flow. The whole goal is for you to begin to understand and improve your cash flow if you have existing cash flow, and to begin to start working so that then there are no surprises. When you're finished, you should be able to then be able to have a better outlook of your cash flow. And then the next steps after you save the sheet and begin to work in the sheet, you would actually begin to use this to maybe delegate to your employers. You might also, employees, You may also be able to, it'll help you to draw up a budget for the initiatives that you're thinking about, as well as a schedule, so that you'll know when to carry out all these opportunities. So as we look at this one and we look at cash management, you'll notice that it has category, ways to create better cash flow, useful, one, two, or three, and then how to carry out the initiative. So you'll see in the categories, there are various categories here: the debtors, the creditors, the inventory, tied up capital, meaning there's capital there that's actually involved with something else, like a lease, a car, loans, and raising capital. And then there's a blank area right at the bottom if there's no category there for you, and you can add that one. So again, this is a PDF worksheet, meaning that you can actually download this worksheet to your computer and save it and give it a new name, so that then when you rename it, you'll still have the original blank version, and you can always open that one and give it another name so it becomes a working document in various draft versions for you. So how do you use it? Based upon your thoughts as far as cash management, um, are you looking at better ways for cash management? You have to ask yourself, shorten terms of payment, if you're going to convert to digital invoicing, introduce advanced payments, improve reminder procedures, introduce interest payments on overdue receivables, offer cash discounts or immediate payments, or anything else you may think of. So these are people that owe you money for the services. So this is where you kind of start thinking about your invoicing and when you're going to invoice individuals. So some of these may be useful or they may not be useful. So you would kind of categorize these, so you can click. So maybe shortened term payments would be useful for you. Maybe converting to digital invoice would even be better for you, because a lot of people are just doing things via email. Maybe introduce interest rate payments on overdue receivables. That might be interesting to you or useful for you, or it may not be, meaning that as people are owing you money, that you are adding interest to the money that is due if they don't pay you on a certain time frame that you've set, and then offering discount, cash discounts for immediate payment. So it may be useful, but it might not be on your top list. Whatever the case may be, for things you to think about or to add additional things as relates to people that owe you, then how will you carry out these initiatives? So shorten terms of payment. So that may be involved in your invoicing, so that when you're invoicing a person or a client, you're indicating the terms of the payment. So you're going to talk about terms of payment, and maybe the payment is only, that everything must be paid within 10 days of receiving the invoice. So you may be talking about that. You may use, for converting to digital invoicing, you may use PayPal. If you have a PayPal account, that you can build build an invoice with your logo. And so when you build the invoice with your logo. You can personalize it, and then as you do that, you can put the person's name and information in and the total amount that's due. If it's a deposit, the amount of the deposit, so it shows the remaining balance and so forth. And then, if there are, invoices that are overdue, in your invoicing for overdue receivables, you may have a policy or set a policy for overdue receivables, so that you can actually share with your client, so it's at no surprise that a policy of overdue receivables, so that then they'll know that once you set a deadline of when they're supposed to actually pay you, that you can then start adding interest to that total amount. That interest could be based upon days or dates, or however you want to do it, with a certain percentage, so that you may charge a person 5% per day, on based on the total amount that's due. So this is where you would kind of start planning this out, and that's what you would use this worksheet to figure out what that looks like. And then you can use the worksheet for creditors. So these are your to make installment agreements with your creditors, extend your terms of payment with your creditors, people that you owe as a company. So any kind of agreements, or either installment agreements with tax authorities, agreements like if you owe your taxes and things like that, that you're setting some kind of agreements in place for the creditors, and people that owe the company. And so other ways of bringing down costs, as well as how do you bring down spending, so that then for your particular company, you're not spending a lot of money on interest and things that a creditor would charge for your cash flow. So you can plan that out. And again, you can indicate which ones are important to you, which ones are, important, where you click, and then things that are least important, you click there. And in the narrative, you would explain how you can plan those out, because you want to put those in your projections, and in your budget plan, so that there are no surprises related to your company, that how your money is coming in and coming out, as it relates to cash flow. Then you have inventory, and if you have inventory, you're looking at how to cut current inventory levels, how to cut down the fees for that, or to ensure that you have the right amount of inventory on hold, and that you don't have an overflow of inventory, where then items or inventory sit for a long period of time, that you can make smaller sizes to suppliers, making smaller orders, because many times, like a t-shirt company or something like that, they may ask in order to get a certain rate or discount, and you need to have a certain colored t-shirt or something in your inventory. You may have to buy a certain amount in order to get that discount. So those are the things that you have to look at, and also knowing when how much you really need. That means you need to plan out much you're going to sell, what you're going to do, so that you can reduce then also reorders, because when you have to reorder, it's kind of like the same with you purchasing your inventory, unless you have set some kind of agreement with your supplier for reorders. But again, you want to minimize your spending and your cash flow that's going out. And so the rest of them getting higher revenue rates, as well as reducing inventory through consignment. So this is where you can, through consignment, work with other groups. So if there are a whole bunch of people or group that you're working with, and all of you are doing printing, and all of you kind of need various types of t-shirts that you can buy in bulk, that then you work kind of to reduce that. And also as consignment, as it relates to like if you are a person that has a boutique, or you have a fashion company or something like that, that you actually reduce your inventory in that way through consignment, so that as a company, with consignment, you receive then used items or lightly used items as a retail or boutique, and that you actually then sell those items uh, that were given or donated to you, or however, so that then it becomes like a thrift store or some kind of store where you're reducing you having to buy items, but that then you take these slightly used items as a consignment, and that you actually then put them on the shelves, and then you sell those items at a reduced profit or rate. Then tied up capital. So this relates to sales assets, taking out loans against your assets, as well as leasing. So this is where you're carefully looking at that any capital you have, anything that you have where you need to sell your assets. Also, if you need a loan against your assets, you want to really look at those things to make sure that whatever profits you think in the cash that you're going to generate, that you're able to replenish the assets, or that the assets are not hindering you. If you are leasing equipment and things like that, you have inventory, cars, and all of that, you want to make sure that these capital items that are really connected or linked, that they help you to generate cash flow, and it does not put you in a bind where you use your assets and you have no plan to regenerate the cash flow to then make sure that those assets are liquid. Then the loans, of course. So you want to look at get granted an overdraft or something like that. So that's like at your bank where you negotiate, you work with the bank that there is some kind of security, so that then any monies that are coming out of your account and you overdraft, that you work with the bank, that they put a secured loan or something on your account, so that if you do happen to have an overdraft, that you're not paying overdraft fees, but it is coming out then of some type of loan or some type of funding, that then they deduct that from that loan, so that then you don't get charged these bank fees for overdraft. And so the other ones are really general as well. Taking out a loan from a bank, is that a priority to you? Getting a loan from personal contacts, is that a priority? Factoring deals, is that a priority? Many times factoring can be very expensive, but if you are a large company, factoring basically means that if you have to pay something upfront, employees and all of that, as you wait for your contract to come through or something like that, it may take, if it's a state contract or city contract, that may take 3 months or 60 days or something like that, that there are opportunities to get factoring loans, that they actually you get the money so that you can handle operations and things like that until your bid comes through. So that's how that works with that. And then, of course, negotiating extension on your bank loans and all of that. So these are things that you need to think about in this particular section. And then raising capital. Of course, you want to be able to figure out how to raise capital, understand that if you are getting loans from inventory holders, that you understand the contract agreements, that kind of thing, that are going to help you to raise your capital, and also the injection of capital coming from investors. Again, you want to make sure and that you look at those agreements to ensure that even from an investor perspective, that you still have control of your company, and also looking at the agreement of that capital that they may be injecting into your business, to make sure that it is not hindering you in any kind of way and affecting your cash flow. So this is the kind of cash flow worksheet that I wanted to share with you, so that you can see. Now I'm going to actually go into, because I think I had downloaded a few worksheets. I'm going to go into the cost budget worksheet and do a new share so that you can see the cost budget worksheet. Let's see here. Um, okay. All right. And make sure that you can see it. So this is the cost budget worksheet. And again, it's the same blue operations. You know where you're at. We're on B1.22. It is designed. Then the instructions are on the side to tell you what it's designed to do, as well as the next steps. So this is a worksheet that then you would convert into a spreadsheet or Excel spreadsheet. Once you work out these numbers, you can download this worksheet, save it as a version of whatever you're doing or draft. And if you need the blank one, you go back to the blank one and call it something else. So this is the cost budget, and it's all designed to calculate your costs as well as to reduce your expenses. You'll notice at the top is a checklist of things that you may or may not need, but it gives you an idea. It's the whole idea of growth wheel is to kind of trigger your thoughts, help you think about things that are basic and general, and that then you can always add things that might not be on the sheet. So with direct costs, they're talking about goods, raw materials, production costs, external manpower, that would be considered direct costs. So you could click and say, direct cost is the goods. With my sales, it could be the marketing or the catering or whatever. My administration cost could be my internet access, and my insurances and so forth. So you use this sheet to kind of help you figure out then where these things go, because you'll notice then on the side under category is where you would actually then type in the information and type in what those direct costs are. So, based upon what you chosen up here, production costs, whatever the case may be. These are direct costs, goods. So, example, I may have to, if my business was a restaurant or something, or I'm a baker. Some of my direct costs would be my food or my, bakery items that I would have to acquire, because that's where my product is. So my direct cost, then if that is something, I might have to break it down a little bit more in detail. But then I need to know the amount per month. So how much do I have to spend per month for food as a baker? And then the amount per year. So basically, you're taking whatever this dollar amount is, and then you're timesing it by 12 to give you a total amount. So if I'm only spending $100 on bakery items or goods, which I definitely going to spend more than that, but just for calculation purposes. Then for the amount that I would spend, that's times 12. So this is about what I'm going to spend per year on this direct cost item. And then the question is, then how can I reduce the usage, or how can I reduce my cost? So it could be that the items that I'm buying, I can get either at a reduced rate, or that I can do in a group of other individuals and be a part of a co-op, so that we all buy our items because we get the same thing. We all need sugar. And so we buy those items in bulk. And so instead of buying just one item going to a store, that I can do it with a co-op and actually buy the items collectively and get it at a discount. And that might be a way to reduce or save. So co-op might be my option. And then how do I reduce my prices? Well, that could be that, as a co-op, maybe I'm getting it at a discounted rate. So possibly I can reduce my item cost, because I'm not spending as much for one item. And also, I could maybe reduce my prices, and maybe it could be those things that I sell frequently. Um, and I know that they're going to sell that at a certain time and season of the month, that I actually do a discount or sale, reduce the price. And then other items that I sell, I keep those items at the same cost. Or if I know that this is a hot item, that I may at times fluctuate to reduce the cost, and maybe go on the down on the cost as a promotion, a promo. And you'll see that all the time, that people do promos. You'll see that at fast food restaurants. Buy two, at $4. So though that's where they're reducing costs, making it easier for your client to buy, and then engaging them for a certain period of time, and then that promo is gone. So that's how you could use that. Any kind of sales costs that you're thinking about. Again, you can use the categories up here, since I was talking about food. So any sales costs. So maybe with this type of cost, it is the marketing, it's the flyers, it's whatever I'm doing, my website, that kind of thing. The website and the maintenance of the website, website development, that kind of thing. Do I have to pay a person to manage the website? And how much is that gonna cost? So it would help if I could spell. In that particular case, and you'll see this plus sign, that's because there's a space in there. So when I delete the space, it goes away. So it'll let you know that you can actually type and keep typing, but it won't show up on the sheet. The only way it's going to show up on the sheet is when you actually save this, download it, and then you can see the whole thing. If you're just typing on the computer in this state, then you won't see anything underneath. So you got to make sure you download it, then you save it, and then you'll be able to see everything that you're typing in. So in this particular case, as it relates to sales costs and my marketing, how much am I spending per month for web management? How much is that for the whole year times 12? And then can I reduce that cost? So those are things that you want to consider as it relates to your costs. Administrative costs, that's kind of your phone, your internet access, what are those costs? So you're just kind of planning out a roadmap for things that you need, and how much it costs per month and so forth, and how you can reduce that. Personnel, the kind of self-explanatory as it relates to your salaries, as it relates to your consultants, your contractors, whoever it is. You want to highlight what that is, how much how much will it cost per month, and then per year times 12. All of this becomes helpful when you actually begin to do your budget. This worksheet helps you to think things out, start thinking about how much you're going to have to spend within operations, the capacity, that's your rent, things like that, your heat, your electricity, all of that, your IT costs, and then anything depreciation, really talking about those overdraft fees that we talked about, those bank fees, and that kind of thing. And then anything related to depreciation of equipment, the facilities, and things that you have. So this is our then worksheet for that, just to help you plan out. And this is the cost budget worksheet. So I'm going to close this so that we can actually go to my next page in here. And like I said, I wasn't going to do all of them, but I did want to be able to kind of share with you just some of the things. New share. Make sure I go back to where I was on my screen, just to show you some of the worksheets that are available. So we did the uh, uh, cash management, we did the cost budget. There are other budget worksheets, but again, you reach out to us as your advisor. We can send you these workshop sheets. There's also a video that's attached to the decision sheets as well, so that they give you kind of a review of what it is and how it works if you have questions relating to that. So that would be our financials. Then our next pie is our funding. So these are like our financial options or funding options. And I'm just going to go through actually the lender information. So I'm going to actually see if I didn't save it. So I'm going to save it and download it. So with this information worksheet that I'm opening, and I'm going to make sure I'm sharing it with you so that you can see it. Uh, this is our lender information. This is kind of the worksheet that helps you to gather your information and make sure that you thought about items that potentially your lender will ask for. So as you gather this information, it will give you some insight for yourself as well as the lender about who you are. So you gather this information. As you gather this information, I always suggest that you get a binder. And as you gather information, you put the information in a binder, kind of get the plastic sleeve thing, you get the information, slide in the plastic sleeve so that then you have this binder. And then whatever item you need that a lender may ask for or anyone else, you have that readily available to make a copy and you can give it to them. So these are some of the items that you may need. These are the categories. So your company documents. So you may need, and I'm gonna blow this up so you can see it. You may need your registration certificates. So that could be that you're registered with the state, Secretary of State. That also any other kind of registrations with the federal government, that you have a federal employee identification number, FEIN. So you have a letter that states that, shows what that number is. So these are the documents that you kind of have in case you need them. Your bylaws. So every company should have some bylaws, some legal bylaws to just say how your business works, who's responsible, in your operations, your meetings, and so forth. And then if you have any shareholders, people that are contributing dollars into your business, that you have those type of agreements, and you keep those agreements, those signed agreements. Then you have the company profile. So you may want to print this from your website if it's already on your website, or you may want to develop a profile of your organization and kind of like a company description. Your personal resume, so that would be the owner operator, the executive director, the CEO, whoever it is that you have those resumes. If you've been in the news, you have press kit clips and all that about your organization or your company, then you would keep a copy of that, put that in your binder, and then a list of your board of directors or your members. So that would be their name, their affiliation, their mailing address, their phone number, all of that, and kind of keep a directory of those. If you're sole proprietor, then it would just be you. The company products. So this is a list of products that you sell. So you may have a product sheet with a list of all your products, and then the price of what your products basic standard price is. And then if there are competing products that you've done the research on your competitors and you know how much they're selling their products for, and what those products are. And then if you have ideas for the future, products that you've never seen before, but it's something that maybe you can develop, that then these ideas for future products might be available to you. Then the company clients, you always want to keep a list of your clients. This really works well with marketing when you can know who your clients are. You might want to get their birth dates or whatever uh, that they celebrations, anniversaries, especially if you're selling things. And you want to send them a card or postcard and say, hey, discount, or get a free cupcake or something like that. So you keep a list of your clients, and then you also keep uh, any kind of orders, confirmations, anything, contracts. You have all that information in your binder, but then you can also see how well you're doing with your business. If you have any kind of outstanding offers, anything related to with your company, things that are kind of past due, outstanding offers with your client, that kind of thing, that you place some deadlines on certain things. Client references. So if you get a new client, it might be a survey or something that you're asking, well, how did you hear about us? And you'll see that when you fill out surveys, they'll ask a question. Well, how did you hear about us? Where did you get this information from? Who referred you? So you want to kind of compile that, as well as any just regular standard contracts and terms of sales related to your client. And that kind of goes back to the invoicing we were talking about. So if you're doing work or offering them products, that you make sure that they receive a receipt or a contract or sales or term. If you're selling clothes or something like that, that you have after 10 days, you can't return, or you need to have a receipt. All those things you need to think about and pull together. Your marketing, of course, if you have a website, you just kind of print out a page so that it gives you an overview of the design and the look. You put that in your binder, you have that ready. Any kind of brochures or handouts or whatever you have that. Your organization, your company's organization. So how is it structured? Who's your board? The employees that you may have, and an organization chart of who answers to who and reports to who. And then, of course, any kind of job descriptions. All that goes in your binder with your organization identification. Risk assessment. So this is risk analysis, so that you do kind of a SWOT analysis almost to really determine, you determine your strengths and your weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats. But also you're looking at if COVID-19 happens and it becomes a risk where I can't open my business, that you're doing an assessment of what you need to do to keep generating revenue. Okay, so you need to outline what we call financial projections, so that you have a B, and C, so that you can kind of project that if this happens, then I only generate 50% of my revenue, which is maybe my break even. Whereas this happens and I only generate 25% of my revenue, that then my risk assessment says that some of these products that I buy and that I sell, or my inventory, I have to reduce. Okay, so that's the type of document that you would include. Financing requirements. So again, it's really talking about and really looking at your cash flow budget, looking at any kind of investments that you may be getting involved with, whatever that plan is, if you're going to get a loan, if you're doing long-term financing where you're actually buying an item or buying a truck or something like that, where it's long term, and whatever the requirements are for that, any kind of investments, calculations, and all that, you need to have that information in your binder. Your personal budget. So these are your personal finances, whatever your personal budget. So this is not your business budget. This is you, because many times as a startup organization and also throughout your business, you will find that you personally become an investor in your business. And so you need to be able to look at your personal budget, look at your tax returns, and look at any kind of personal financial statements and include that in your binder. Then the company budget, you have to keep control of this and a handle on this. Your operating budget, your monthly liquidity budget, that means money that's monthly, that's loose, that you can grab, you can get hold of, that's not locked down, or that's not into anything, but that you have monthly cash flow, and you have monthly flow of cash in your budget. So you need to be able to have that in your budget, just in case something happens and you need to have access to those dollars. And then your projected balance sheet, just really projecting that this year, these are my numbers, but next year I'm projecting an increase of 20%. So you're taking your original numbers that you have now, you increase it each line item by 20%, and then pretty much gives you a projection as relates to your balance sheet. And then the last thing is your company financial statements. So you should be doing quarterly financial statements. So you shouldn't go a whole year and not look at your financials. In fact, you should look at them at least monthly. You may need to look at them, weekly. So you want to make sure that you're keeping track and you're keeping whole. And then also just your annual report, your annual account. If you're a small organization or a company, you might not have an auditor, but and you would do that yourself through an accountant or somebody like that, that would do your books, and you can do them as well. But these are the type of things that you really want to make sure, um, so that, and a question about how do you calculate monthly cash flow. So basically, you would have a spreadsheet, and you can acquire these spreadsheets or Excel spreadsheets that you can do, that you can acquire, and actually download. And then you would have January, February, March, April, May, June, and you would actually put in the dollar amount for each month. And then next to that, once you finish that month, you actually put in what you actually got or received in your budget. So you can do a comparative analysis and look to see, okay, I said I was going to make $500, but I only made $450. So I kind of came in short at $50. So that gives you an idea of now what do I need? Because I'm kind of $50 short that I said I was going to make. So the next month in February, I may, add that 50 back, increase whatever the dollar amount is that I say I was going to generate in revenue and add that. But then at the end of that month, look to see if I actually made that dollar amount, and to make sure, because if you're not hitting your projections, then you really have to ask yourself what other considerations that you may want to do with that. So yes, you can look at SBA to fund your startup, and look at various loan programs that they have, so that you can actually start adding to your revenue. So there are various things. I know some of the loans that and the programs that the SBA has right now are really specifically related to COVID and not necessarily startup. So if you have an existing business, you've been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, there are some opportunities and things out there to help you with that worksheet. So I think I'm going to, because I didn't want to go over our time today. So I think I'm going to kind of stop there. I'll review
Hi.
the IT one. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Tamora. There are a couple
Hi.
of questions in the chat. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think I answered
Okay.
them. And if I haven't, just unmute yourself and ask the question. But I think I answered both of them.
Yes, you answered it.
Okay.
Yeah, you did, and then that's good information because I'm looking at that right now. What you just said about the additional stuff, so that was
Yeah.
good information. Thank you.
Okay. So, and again, if you need some assistance with trying to find budget worksheets, you need assistance trying to figure out the numbers, definitely our team can assist, or even any SBDC team member if you're a part of another SBDC. But here at Greater Inglewood, we can assist you with anything related to your financials and understanding that. So the last thing I'm going to share, and then of course, if you guys want to reach out to us,
Yeah.
then you can give us a call. We can go a little bit more in detail, give you access and sign you up for Growth Wheel so that you can have access to some of these worksheets that we can send you, so you can do them hands-on. So the last thing I'm going to show you is the software worksheet, because a lot of people they use nowadays, you got Zoom and you got Microsoft, and you have all of these kind of worksheets that you need to figure out. So I'm sharing my screen, and this is the software platform. And you need to consider this. And a lot of people in 2020 last year that did not integrate software and IT into their companies, particularly like restaurants and things like that, were not able to pivot because they couldn't take the cash or the credit card. They didn't have a system for people to pay online, for them to do pickup and delivery. And so being shut down for almost a whole year definitely affects your budget and affects your operations. And so these are things that you need to consider as it relates to various software. We use this as a general. You'll notice all four of our colors. So we use this as kind of like a general worksheet as it relates to all of our areas and our concept areas. But the one that's at the bottom, which relates to operations that we're talking about today, make sure you have some kind of accounting or bookkeeping. So either be QuickBooks, there's some other ones out there that may be less expensive, or if you're good at tracking your numbers, that you use in Excel and that you have it to calculate your numbers. So make sure you have something. Registration of hours. So if you have employees, how do you calculate their time? Is it a time clock? Is it they're punching in or they're logging in on computer, putting in their time? So any kind of software, your budgets, your calculations, again, that's kind of like using Excel and making sure those numbers calculate. Project management. So that's another tool. If you got a lot of things going on. You got a lot of different products. You got a lot of different operations that are happening. You may need kind of like project management because you got different categories, and you got to figure out who's responsible for what, how to manage that to make sure that you're meeting your company's needs with those various projects. So that might be something that you have to consider. Email and word processing, a lot of that is really general. People do already, so that you utilize Microsoft or utilize Mac, or you utilize what's the new one in Microsoft that you're using, the Microsoft Edge, or you're using Google, whatever it is, that you have some kind of software and communication tool, and that you're able to process things. Telecommunications, again, you know, a lot of times we're doing things online now. So we're doing Zoom, we're doing all kind of various platforms, that kind of thing to communicate with people. And so you want to make sure, even, you know, I use sometimes Google Voice, so I don't have to use my phone number, my personal phone number, that I set up a Google Voice account. So I have a Google Voice number. So when I call people from my computer or whatever, I can actually make calls using Google Voice. And then, of course, your data, your information management, your database, so that you're kind of keeping track of everything. If you have deadlines, and you're keeping track of what things are due and all of that, that you have your operations in your IT system. So this is a good worksheet to kind of plan out the various software and IT things that you may need for the various sections. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to stop sharing to see if you guys have any questions or any thoughts, any ideas as we've gone through our operations and the worksheets today. If you are interested in being I think, I don't know if Delia is talking to us, or I see her moving her mouth, but if you are interested in growth wheel and actually utilizing these worksheets and things that we have, just reach out to us via email, so that we can, you know, share this information with you, and that we can get you signed up with Growth Wheel, so that you'll be able to access, and that we can be involved with, you know, with you in this process. And I'm going to share our information in this presentation, the back end of it, just to let you know of some upcoming things that we have. So we did the operations today. Tomorrow, May 20th, we're actually going to do 26th. We're going to do Growth Wheel Customer Relations. But tomorrow, we are starting up our boot camp. So if you need a business plan and you're thinking about trying to get your business plan together, and you would like to be in our 6-week boot camp, we're going to do an overview of what the boot camp is. And also we're going to have a survey for you to fill out if you're interested in pre-selection. So the boot camp will start the second week in June. So we will give you a deadline to actually get in your survey information for us to review, and then reach out back to you to let you know if you've been selected or not. So this is the end of our workshop. If you have questions, you want to register for some of the future events, you can go to our website at www.gcdc.org and click on events and actually register for those events. And also, we will send you, for those that attended today, we're going to send you a survey link for you to fill out a survey for us pertaining to this workshop. And if you have any further questions or anything like that, we'll be able to give that information. So that's all we have for today. This was recorded, so we will put it on our YouTube channel once we actually get the recording back. So if you need to review it or access it or share it, you can do that as well. Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. All right. So I appreciate, thanks you for joining us this afternoon and look forward to seeing you again. Take care.